Hello scholars, today we are working on Kingsbury lesson 23, iReady lesson 19. We're starting on page 189. The origami of the day is a mouse. There we go. Here we go. Today we are evaluating an argument. This is for RI 8.8. You've already done this in our Omnivore's Dilemma unit when we had to figure out if the reasoning was sound or unsound. So keep all of those ideas in mind as we read. So here it says that we're looking about argument, we're thinking about claims, we're looking at evidence, and we're discussing if the evidence is relevant. So remember that earlier in the year we discussed that relevant evidence means that it is connected. That's our big synonym there, that the evidence is connected to our claim. And when you guys were writing short responses in 6th and 7th grade, that's how they explained it to you, that it's connection, okay? Look at the cartoon below showing an argument about funding the US space program. The woman says, the space program leads to discoveries that benefit everyone. So this is her claim. During the Apollo program, NASA developed a fireproof fabric now used by firefighters. Plus, space travel is exciting to watch. And the other guy, the opposition, says, but that money takes away, that transition word's our big hint there, but that money takes away from programs here on Earth. We could use those funds to improve education, and hardly anyone watches space launches. Each person presents a claim about the space program based on what he or she believes to be true. So this again is our claim. Does each person provide relevant details to support the claim? Complete the chart below. So here, just for clarity, I'm going to write this is the woman and this is the man. So the woman's claim is that we should fund the space program. She believes this because, we can write that up here. Her reasoning is her because. The space program leads to important discoveries. NASA developed fireproof fabric now used by firefighters, and the irrelevant evidence is that space travel is exciting to watch. This is irrelevant because being exciting has nothing to do with important discoveries, right? That is not connected here. So here, the man says, we should not fund the space program. We should fund programs here on Earth instead. The relevant evidence is that money from the space program could be used to improve education. And then in this box, what else does he say that's irrelevant? It's kind of connected to this. He responded to her terrible argument here that no one watches space launches. Hardly anyone watches space launches. Okay? When you read an argument, look first to see what claims it makes, then figure out the reasoning and the evidence. So that's what we're going to be doing on the next page. So we are on page 190. Our space program inspires all. So even though this says editorial, when you see editorial, you should think about your op-ed. So we're going to think about Kingsbury, Otomo, Ruiz, etc., right? But here, our space program, you also better be thinking about science. And Mr. Markowitz, Ms. Lambert, Mr. Davis, Mr. Davenport, Ms. Davison, Ms. King, right? It is crucial that we fund and support our nation's space program. Well, that is our claim right there. This argument is pro-space exploration. Well before the first astronaut walked on the moon, humans have had an insatiable curiosity about space. What if Galileo had never pondered the heavens? It is no accident that Europe's navigation satellite system bears his name. It is this powerful curiosity about space exploration that inspires our young people too. So here we have insatiable curiosity about space. And then we're looking at this navigation satellite system is kind of a big deal. So here, one of the most important reasons to fund our space program is to make vital advances in science and technology. Think of all the technology we have now because of space exploration. Every day we use and enjoy innovations such as GPS devices in our cars and cell phones. The memory foam material, which was first used in space shuttles, now helps relieve back pain. And by studying and exploring other planets such as Mars and Venus, we have learned more about our own planet Earth. So these are all pieces of evidence that back up this idea that we are making vital advances in science and technology. Down here, last one. Finally, what do we tell a child whose dream is to become an astronaut? Sorry, we can't afford it. As astronaut Michael Massimino said, we have lots of bills to pay. We have wars going on. We have all these other problems, but you always still put away something for the future. My gist there is just going to be like a sad face, because the point of that is to appeal to our emotions, which you guys learned about in 7th grade. Explore how to answer this question. What claim does the author make in this editorial? So we already know that the claim is right here because they did it as their topic sentence, so that's pretty good. It's crucial that we fund our nation's space program because people have an insatiable curiosity about space, and because the space program makes vital advances in science and technology. I suggest you pause the video here to see if you can fill out this chart on your own, and then I'll come back with the correct answers in just a second. Starting with our relevant evidence. The relevant evidence here for this one, people have an insatiable curiosity about space. Curiosity inspired Galileo's work. And then down here, the space program makes vital advances in science and technology. We have GPS devices and memory foam, and we learned about Earth. So now see, what is the irrelevant evidence? What argument happened, or what evidence occurred in this paragraph that is not relevant? And same thing down here. Go back to this paragraph, which is this one, right? What is the irrelevant evidence? Take a second to pause and fill in that chart. Our irrelevant evidence up here, right, is curiosity inspired Galileo's work. And the irrelevant evidence is a satellite system is named for Galileo. It's not quite irrelevant, but it's not persuasive and it's not helpful. So this is just extra evidence. A satellite system is named for Galileo. Down here in the bottom, this was actually a trick question. There wasn't any irrelevant evidence in this paragraph. All of the evidence here connects directly back to the idea that we are making vital advances in science and technology. Down here it says, with the partner, discuss whether the reasoning in each paragraph is sound. And again, we've already talked about sound reasoning. Obviously, you don't have to explain it to a partner, but we've already talked about sound reasoning in class. And think to yourself, does this make sense? Because the next one is going to have the opposite opinion. All right, so here we go. We're on Money for Food, Not Mars. This is on page 191. Also an editorial, so we're thinking about the same people. And then Money for Food, Not Mars. When I see Money for Food, I'm actually going to think about our community service project, because many of you were thinking about the homeless population or about food insecurity and ideas like that. So some of you have already done some research about this. And then when I see Mars, I'm obviously thinking about science and space again. Did you know that the Mars rover Curiosity cost $2.6 billion? Previous rovers Spirit and Opportunity together cost $800 million. These enormous numbers seem absurd when we consider that our country is in debt and countless people are hungry and homeless. Space program funds should be Space program funds should be cut dramatically so that the money can be used to solve our country's economic and social problems. Sending robots to other planets may be inspiring for children, but don't we have a duty to feed and clothe these children? People need to speak out on this urgent issue so that we can make cuts that matter and put money where it's needed most. So this claim actually happens further down. This claim is that the space program fund should be cut, and because their reasoning is actually a little bit further down. So the question is, what evidence does the author provide to support her reasoning that the money used for the space program should be used to address poverty? So your big hint is that this is the paragraph where you're going to find that answer, because this is the paragraph where she gives her claim and her reasoning. This paragraph is basically a hook. But also think about all of this word choice, enormous numbers, and absurd. Don't we have a duty? Speak out on this urgent issue. So this author is using a lot of word choice to get her opinion across. As always, you can enter all of your answers into the Google form. This lesson is actually scheduled for Friday, so the Google form is going to be due on Monday afternoon, because the Google form will include these ones. I'm not doing a Google form for one multiple choice question. So click on to the next video if you want to get the read aloud for these next passages. Otherwise, you can just complete this in your book and hang out.